What is up, everybody? Titans Talk 615 podcast here. Thank you all for tuning in the first episode. This is the brand new first episode. I really appreciate everyone who's here right now tuning in. This is going to be a big episode, a lot to take in, so enjoy it. We've been talking a lot about Cam Ward, so wherever you're listening from. Let's get right into the episode. Let's no longer wait. Enjoy the first episode. What is up, Titans Talk 615 family? Welcome to the first episode of the Titans Talk 615 podcast. I am your host, if you don't know me, Jackson Weber. I appreciate everyone who's tuning in today. Before we get into this big episode, we have a lot to break down. This first episode, I'm going to talk a lot about Cam Ward, what I think about him. We're going to talk about the Titans offseason so far, what's been going on. We have a lot to talk about training camp as well, since we're in a little bit of a phase for a long month. So to start with that, the Titans have a whole month of just nothing. I'm currently filming this on the Tuesday. This is going out on a Sunday. So from this day all the way to July 22nd, there's nothing going on. So there's no really interaction like with media. There's always behind the scenes stuff. I know Cam Ward's throwing her now to his receivers. I know a lot of receivers are still here. I know Simmons is still working out here before he goes to Mississippi. There's a lot of guys who are still here at the moment. And then July 22nd, they have to report to get tested, physicals, all that good stuff. And then the 23rd, that's when a day of training camp is. And then we have an open practice for the Tennessee Titans. If you live in Nashville, if you're a Titans fan, if you want to go check that out, go to TennesseeTitans.com on the 25th, which is a Wednesday, and go check that out because I know it's going to be live then after this podcast. There's a lot to talk about, and first of all, there's a lot of family friends on this podcast who are listening who might not know a lot about Titans football, who might not understand it as much, and that's totally okay. I still appreciate all y'all listening, and we're going to break as much as I can down on this podcast. I know a lot of y'all are going to become Titans fans at the end of the day, which I like. So let's get started, right? Let's get started with this. So we're going to ask you guys a question in the middle of a podcast. I'm going to throw it in there in a little bit. My main question today is Cam Ward the spark the Tennessee Titans have been missing? And we're going to talk about that in the middle of the podcast. So the Titans offseason, it's something when you go 3-14. You will go 6-11, 3-14. You're like, okay, what happened here, right? Like what's going on, right? Obviously, you lose Derrick Henry to the Ravens. Ryan Tannehill's gone now. You didn't really lose much on the defense that year last year. You gained a lot on the defense last year, except losing Azeez Al-Shire, but that's only a guy you lost. So it was hard last year seeing this team compete because I felt like most of the time the offense with Will Levis didn't seem like they're competing. And I'm not trying to diss Will Levis. I'm not trying to say anything about him, but that's what it felt like. Will Levis didn't keep us in football games. And that's why the Titans lost 14 games. It was like the second or third worst record in Titans franchise history. 2-14 is still the worst to this day, I'm pretty sure, at the top of my head, when we drafted Marcus Mariota. So you kind of get to this idea because you get also lucky because the Patriots won and then the Raiders won. So you took two teams who maybe needed some weapons, especially the Raiders who needed a quarterback, which I'm surprised they didn't take one, out of the top 5 into the top 6. Cleveland's in the top 3. They don't need a quarterback. New York needs one. They're in the top 3. They went on Dual Carter. So the Titans somehow, on January 5th, got the number 1 overall pick. Rand Carthon, you spend $300 million, and you have some consequences. I hate to say it. You're going to get a consequence somehow. So Rand Carthon getting fired after 3-14, it should be no shocker to most of y'all. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be much of a shocker. It does suck because you go out and you take a lot of risks, and L'Jarius Sneed didn't work out as well as we thought to. He got hurt, and now he's dealing with all the field issues. We have no idea what's going on with that. Lloyd Cushenberry got hurt, tore his ACL. Great signing, but he's going to come back this year to be healthy enough, you know? Kenneth Murray, bust of a signing, didn't work out for the Tennessee Titans. So those are 3 top signings that did not work out. Calvin Ridley, he dealt with some bad quarterback play last year, but you know what? He's going to get a guy this year who's hopefully going to change that. So I feel like Mike Borgonzi did a nice job this offseason, didn't overspend a lot, and added a lot of young pieces to this young core because you got to think about it. You're in a rebuild now, y'all. You're in a rebuild now. You finished last in the AFC South. You got finished last in the NFL. it's going to be hard to take that next step this year to go 10 wins, right? I really think the Titans can be 7 to 9 wins this year if everything all goes well. I think they added a lot of nice defensive pieces in the offseason, especially in the draft. They added Femi Odejo, who I really like a lot. I'm going to talk about later in the episode. You got Xavier Woods on the defense, who I really like a lot. Cody Barton on the defense is really, really nice. And the cornerback room also, if everything goes out well with the cornerback room's going to be fine. DB's going to be fine. You got an edge. You got a key edge group now. So you got some guys who can build around. A lot of young guys as well. So I think in the next couple years, if everything goes out well for the Tennessee Titans, we could be a 12-5 team, 13-win team as we talk about it again. But for now, I'll be very, very happy, and I know a lot of y'all should be too, if we get 6 to 7 wins this year as a team. I think I saw on FanDuel or whoever it was, a betting app, the Titans over-under is like 5.5. But it just depends on how the season goes. We'll talk about next episode, the schedule. So I do want to break that down next week. But for now, I think the Titans will get 7 or 8 wins this year, in my opinion. So, and that leads into my next point. I want to talk about the offseason with Cam Ward. Is he the missing spark that the Tennessee Titans have been needing? Yes, I think so. Because here's the point, y'all. Y'all need to think about this. Cam Ward into training camp, y'all have watched him in Miami. He's a stud in Miami. He's a guy who came from nowhere. He had to come up by himself. He had to work for it. Cam Ward is a guy who puts in the extra step, it seems like. He's a guy who always wants to work. He's up at 5 in the morning working out, and he wants to take the extra step to get better. He told us, he's like, I'm not gonna say the word, but he's gonna throw around the ball with the receivers. He did say the word in there, but you can check out Jim Wyatt on X or Instagram and see the post. He did say that, and it caught me my eye. I was like, oh, okay, well, I love that. Because if you want confidence in your team, you have to have confidence in yourself. And that's exactly what Cam Ward has right now. Number one is confidence. You need confidence in yourself to be a good quarterback. That's what the Titans have been missing for a very long time. Number two, he's a leader. He's acting like he's been here before. He's 2 months in, and he's acting like he's been here for like 5 years already. And he's fun to coach. I've heard that a lot of coaches love to coach him. The quarterback's coach, Bo Hardy, loves to coach Cam Ward. He loves to coach Cam Ward. Y'all saw when Borgonzi and Callahan, he dabbed up Callahan at the Miami Pro Day? Callahan loves Cam Ward. And that's number 3. Good bonding with your coaching, your teammates. That's exactly, as you're heading into the next year, that's what I love from a quarterback to see, that you love all your teammates, you're interacting with everybody. You're building good relationships right there. And that's going to definitely help when you're in the 17, 16 games in the middle of the season. Y'all have to understand, too, Cam Ward is a guy who is really, really competitive, and I can definitely see Cam Ward getting over 3,500 yards this year with double-digit touchdowns. At least maybe 20, 24. So that's my first question today. Okay? What is, if you want to make a stat prediction of Cam Ward, what is your stat prediction for Cam Ward into this year? What do you think? How do you think Cam Ward is going to be this year? And if y'all leave comments, I'll look at it in the next episode. I'll talk about it. I'll definitely get y'all's feedback. I think this year he's going to have a great year. Now, it's hard to also rely on a rookie quarterback. So you need to be careful here. So that's why I like that the Titans are building around the team this year. I love that. So, yes, I think he's going to be a huge spark. I think you guys should know that too. So, I'm going to tell y'all 5 players who's really stood out to me in camp. And we're going to go in order. From number 5, J.C. Latham. Now, Latham's a guy who's been really, really flashy at Alabama. He worked under Nick Saban. He's a guy who's really, really quick off the edge, off the left side. But he's never played left tackle before. Some of y'all don't think that's a huge change from right tackle to left tackle. You played right tackle your whole 4 years in college, and you're going to switch to left? That's hard to do a lot of times for an athlete. So he's going back to right tackle because we signed Dan Moore. I think that's going to be effective for J.C. Latham. He's lost a lot of weight. He looks great. He feels great, he says, to Jim Wyatt. I think JC is going to take the extra step this year that the Titans' offensive line really, really needs. So I think JC is going to have an incredible year. Number 4, it shouldn't be a shocker to y'all, Monty Hooker. I have so much praise for Monty Hooker. Hooker is a guy who is ready every single game. He's hungry. Ever since Kevin Byard got traded to the Eagles back in 2023, Hooker's taken over the whole safety room. Monty Hooker is easily one of the most underrated safeties in the league by far. And I think Hook's going to have a great year this year. He looks ready in camp. I mean ready by campus. He's ready there. He's talking on the defense. He's a leader. Denard Wilson's talked a lot of great things about Monty Hooker. Hooker said he's looked great. So I love that for Monty Hooker. I definitely think he's going to have a great year this season. Another guy on defense I want to talk about, new guy coming into the scheme, Cody Barton. Cody Barton's a stud. And we all saw him in Denver last year. If you watched Cody Barton against any other team last year, he played great. He's a really good defender. And on the linebacker, he's such a cool guy, too. In the linebacker room, we definitely needed somebody because Kenneth Murray really, really struggled last year. And I think Cody Barton's going to take that role and take on that role, and he's definitely going to be an underrated linebacker this year. So you get picked off Cam Ward twice in camp, and Cam made a joke, said, I threw it to him for fun, for 6 points on defense. So I think Cody Barton's going to have a great year this year. My number 2 guy, and this really shouldn't be surprising to you either, another defensive guy, because I want to shout out to the defense, Jeffrey Simmons. Simmons is ready to play. I know a lot of y'all, we didn't see much of Simmons because he wasn't there for voluntary training camp. But Simmons was there for those 3 days in June, earlier this month, and he looked great. Simmons is still the best defender on this team. And Simmons is hungry this year to bring back wins to Nashville, Tennessee. I know he wants to stay. I know he's not going to I don't think he's going to get traded this year. So I want those rumors to get shut down. Because Jeffrey Simmons is easily a top 7 defender in the league. He's definitely going to have a breakout year this year. So shout out to Big Jeff Simmons. Number 1, and this shouldn't be any shocking to y'all, Cam Ward. That shouldn't be any shocking to y'all. He's looked great in camp. Accuracy's been there. Accuracy's been there for Cam Ward. And, it's really great to see a quarterback take strides in camp going on to the regular season. So it's right around the corner. It's going to be really, really fast. So Cam Ward, I think, is the number 1 most guy who stood out in camp so far this season. So we don't have much Titans news as of right now as I'm filming this. There's really nothing really to keep you guys updated on. Like I just told you guys, there's Jim Wyatt. He basically, just like I told y'all earlier, he said that the training camp's going to start on the 23rd. Everybody's working out right now. So that's kind of what's been going on. So nothing really at the moment for training camp. Another guy I do want to actually, say I think is going to have a great year this year, and I do want to give him a shout-out, Tyjae Spears. Spears is ready, and, last year was weird because I think Callahan's also going to take a big step this year with this role because you got to think about it. You have 2 great running backs in the running back room who are going to be really affectionate. You have Spears and Pollard. Pollard was great last year. I think if you get more Tyjae Spears in, he's more focused, he's more ready, you're going to get him into more action this year. I think Tennessee Titans running back room is also going to be really, really good this year. But that's it for the training camp and all that stuff. So another thing I do want to talk to y'all, I do want to ask y'all this year, because this is actually a question I've been actually wondering too. Those of you guys who've been Titans fans for a very, very, very long time, you can answer this question. I know there's a ton of you guys who might be listening. Who has been your favorite Titans player of all time? This is a question because I want to know as well, so you can leave it down below also. Personally, me, it's either Steve McNair or Eddie George. I wasn't born at those times, but I love watching those guys play. So let me know down below who is your favorite Titans player to watch. Even if you could be a fan of other team too, you can still comment. But that is it for the first Titans Talk episode. I really appreciate everyone who's tuning in once again. Next week, we're going to break down the roster. We're going to talk about the rest of training camp. We might have some news next week, so hopefully we do. We'll make a better episode. So thank you guys for tuning in the first episode. I really much appreciate it. Tighten up. Peace out, buddy.